Swim and Dive has a successful spring break.
And men's basketball heads into postseason play.
All of this and more coming up on the Penguin Rundown. And welcome into the Penguin Rundown. I'm your host this week, Caleb Ellison, and joining me today is Bryce Noel. Bryce, I know it's been a minute since we've been here. How's your spring break?
It's been wonderful catching up, getting ready for the March Madness tournament, especially with basketball. And basketball's been doing very well as the Youngstown State men's basketball team ended a historic season last week, falling to Northern Kentucky in the semifinal round of the Horizon League Championships. In the quarterfinals, the Penguins defeated Detroit Mercy 71-66 in a gritty matchup versus the Titans. The Penguins were also able to hold Antoine Davis to just 26% shooting while keeping him short of the NCAA scoring record set by Pistol Pete Maravich in 1970. The Penguins held the Titans to 36% shooting as a team, while the Penguins secured 13 points off of turnovers. YSU would move on to the semifinals to play Northern Kentucky with a chance to play for the Horizon League Championship. After trailing 25-40 at halftime, the Penguins cut the lead just to 4 points in the second half, but the Norse defense proved to be too much for the Penguins, holding YSU to under 50% shooting as a team. Adrian Nelson ended the game with a team-high 17 points, paired with 13 rebounds. Dwayne Cohill finished with 16 points before fouling out about 5 minutes to go in the contest. The Penguins finished their historic season as the regular season champions of the Horizon League and automatically qualifying for the National Invitational Tournament for the first time in program history. The men's basketball team is back in action today, Wednesday, March 15th at 7 p.m. inside the Beakley Center against Oklahoma State in the NIT. The game can be watched on ESPN Plus and listened to on 570 WKBN.
The women's basketball team season came to an end on March 2nd in the Beagley Center, falling to Northern Kentucky University 59-58. In the first quarter, both teams combined for only 26 points. Fifth-year senior Lily Ritz set a new single-season Horizon League tournament record, bringing down 21 rebounds. Ritz also had a game-high 17 points. With the Norse up by 16, the offense was fueled by senior Paige Shy, cutting NKU's lead to just 12. Senior Dina Gerald hit a clutch three-pointer at the beginning of the fourth to cut NKU's lead to 10 as Ritz scored on 5 straight possessions down the stretch for the Penguins. Youngstown came up short in the end, 58-59. The women's team finished the season 19-11. For more on the women's basketball season, let's send it over to Andrew Peterson and Dylan Lux at the roundtable.
Thanks, guys. Welcome into this week's episode of the Roundtable. I'm Andrew Pearson alongside the newest member of Penguin Rundown, Dylan Lux. Dylan, how does it feel?
It feels good. I'm usually a behind-the-camera type of guy, but to be out here with my good buddy Drew, it feels good to be in front of the camera.
Now, with that being said, the women's season just ended a couple weeks ago. We're going to recap their season.
Absolutely, Drew. The girls had a solid season this year, 19-11 overall, 13-7 in the conference, which is good enough for 4th in the Horizon League.
YSU was very good as a team this year, as they won by average of 8 points, which is just a tick under what they averaged last year. They averaged 67 points per game this season. YSU was also good from downtown, as they had 3 players in top 15 of three-pointers made in the Horizon League. Those players were Megan Callahan, Malia Magistro, and Paige Shy.
Yeah, and you mentioned those 3. 2 of them were actually in double-digit points per game. Megan Callahan averaging 10.7 points per game and Malia Magistro averaging 10.1 points per game. We were also first in the Horizon League in assists as a team and second in the conference in field goal percentage.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, YSU leading the Horizon League in assists, so they were sharing the ball really well, passing to each other, helping each other score. And now we're going to move into their defense, as they were 3rd defensively in the Horizon League.
Absolutely. And with good defense comes a good defensive leader, and we honored the Defensive Player of the Year this year with Lily Ritz having 1.8 steals, 1.2 blocks per game to go along with 8 defensive rebounds per game, which also put her on the All-Horizon League defensive team.
Yeah, you're speaking of her being named Defensive Player of the Year. She is just the second YSU player to be named All-Horizon League first team. She averaged just 17 points per game. She also averaged a double-double for the season, which helped the team with their success.
Absolutely, and you mentioned her double-double number. She had 19 on the season, which was tied for 7th in the NCAA, which of course led the conference. She was also in a league of her own with 2 20-rebound games in Horizon League play. No other player even had 1 in the conference. She also led the conference in games with 10-plus rebounds. And of course, you mentioned her first team bid was 17.4 points per game, 11.3 rebounds per game, while shooting 60% from the field. An incredible season from her.
She also had several big games this season, as back on February 9th, she scored a season-high 31 against Oakland, and then just a couple weeks ago against NKU in their tournament game, she had a season-high 21 rebounds. And 6 years, I also want to talk about Megan Callahan, as she was named to 3rd team All-Horizon League.
Yeah, absolutely. She is absolutely worth a mention. 10.7 points per game, 2.9 rebounds per game, and 1.9 assists per game, all while shooting 41% from 3. She was absolutely incredible from beyond the arc.
Yeah, Callahan was averaging just under 11 points per game. Callahan also made 59 three-pointers, so she was a big reason why YSU was in so many of their games. I also want to talk about Malia Magistro, as she contributed to the team's success, as she averaged just 10 points per game.
Absolutely, and they're going to be looking to her next year as an upcoming senior. They're going to be looking to her for some more production this year, and I think she's going to have a great season this upcoming year.
Now, with Callahan and Ritz both leaving YSU, they'll be looking to play at the next level.
Absolutely, they'll be a valuable asset to any team past the collegiate level.
Now, thanks guys for tuning in from this week's episode of Penguin Rundown. I'm Andrew Peterson.
And I'm Dylan Lux.
Caleb and Bryce, back to you.
Thanks, guys. The Penguins baseball team has been busy this past spring break with a 2-week span by playing a 4-game series at Baylor March 3rd through 5th, playing a 3-game series at Kansas State March 10th through 12th, and a 1-game stand against Kent State in between on March 7th. The Penguins split their series against Baylor, which included a come-from-behind 7-5 series opener win, which saw Trey Law punch in an RBI, including a game winner, with a double to left field. Brandon Anderson also earned his first collegiate win after throwing a scoreless 8th inning. Against the Golden Flashes, the Penguins couldn't get anything going as they dropped their only game 22-1, and things didn't get much better at Kansas State, where they dropped all 3 games. The teams hit the field again as they welcome Oakland to Eastwood Field for the home opener on the 16th, with first pitch scheduled for 4 p.m.
The YSU softball team was back in action this past Friday as they competed in the Racer Classic hosted by Murray State. The Penguins faced off against the Redbirds of Illinois State in Game 1, then played host to Murray State in Game 2. Against the Redbirds, YSU would take a 2-1 lead over ISU in the top of the second, but the Penguins ultimately lost the contest by a final score of 5-2. In Game 2 against Murray State would bring no luck in the scoring department for the Penguins, as they would only register 1 hit, which came from senior Haley Roach in the top of the first inning, and struck out a total of 11 times. YSU would fall to the Racers by a final score of 2-0. The team will be back in action on St. Patrick's Day, as they will play the Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons in their home opener, and also will begin Horizon League play. First pitch is slated for 3 p.m. at the YSU softball field at the Kivoli Sports Complex.
Last Tuesday, 10 members of the men's swimming program competed at the CSCAA National Invitational at the Elkhart Health and Aquatic Center in Elkhart, Indiana. Sophomore Aleska Verdanovic led the Penguins with 3 podium finishes, with 1 being an individual Horizon League title. Marking the second YSU man to accomplish the feat, junior Gavin Webb won back-to-back titles in the 1650 free with a school record time of 15 minutes and 19.52 seconds. On Friday, junior Cody Thill and graduate students Kayla Rasman represented the Youngstown State men and women's diving programs at the NCAA Zone C Diving Championships at the Councilman Billingsley Aquatic Center. Thill delivered a score of 249.85 across 6 dives to place 24th out of 28 divers. He averaged a score of 41.64 per round. Rasman represented the Penguins in the women's 1-meter dive. She scored a 6-dive total of 195.60 en route to a 48th place finish out of 55 divers. On Saturday, the Youngstown State men's swimming and diving program delivered an impressive performance at the CSCAA National Invitational Championship. Webb and Verdanovic secured podium finishes for the Penguins. Webb clocked a school record time of 15 minutes and 15.20 seconds to place third in the 650 free and clocked a 9-minute and 09.52 in the 1000 free to finish runner-up in the event with another impressive school record time. Radanovic broke his 200 fly school record with the time of 1 minute and 44.85 seconds to finish runner-up. Overall, Youngstown State placed 21st out of 41 schools and picked up 147 points at the meet.
It was a big week swinging the clubs last week as both the men and women's golf teams competed in matches on the road. For the men, they traveled down to Daytona Beach March 6th through the 7th to compete in the Daytona Beach Spring Invitational hosted by Eastern Kentucky. The Penguins would compile a total of 912 throughout the two-day event to place 14th overall as a team. Redshirt senior Cade Krebs led the way for the team individually as he would place 39th by scoring 225 throughout the 3 rounds. His best round came in the second, where he tacked an even 72 par off of 12 pars and 3 birdies. On the women's side, they were down in Rock Hill, South Carolina on March 8th for a dual match with Winthrop. It was a hard-fought match as the Gwins would nip the Eagles by just 2 strokes at 323 to pick up their 4th event victory this season. They would also cash their names in individually as both Danae Rugola and Maddie Smithco tied for second by going for a single round 80. Up next for the men, they will stay on the road this weekend as they will travel out to Urbana, Maryland to compete in the Carpetbagger Classic hosted by Binghamton on Saturday and Sunday. Meanwhile, the women will be back in action in Batavia, Ohio on March 27th through the 28th in the Jewel hosted by Northern Kentucky. For more information on those events, you can go to ysusports.com.
The men's tennis team started off the week in Birmingham, Alabama with a loss to UAB in a 6-1 decision at the Hoover Met Tennis Center on March 7th. The only win of the day came from sophomore Clement Mangai, picked up a singles win at number 2. On March 8th, the men took on Sanford and lost a tough 4-3 decision. In doubles, junior David Alvarez Moreno and Will Everett clinched the match with a 7-6 victory. Sophomore Harry Fowles and senior Laurentiu Montecescu picked up a hard-earned win at number 3. Javi Gonzalez-Pla won 6-3, 6-7, and 6-2 at number 5 singles, while Montecescu picked up a 7-5, 7-6 win at number 1 singles. The YSU men's tennis team will be back in action on Friday, March 17th, as they travel to Wilmington, North Carolina to play against Illinois State and UNC Wilmington. The women's tennis team lost a match to Long Beach State with a 5-2 decision at the Rhodes Tennis Center in Long Beach, California on March 8th. Sophomore Elisa Ragazio and graduate student Mocha Ito picked up singles wins. Sophomore Lily Minich and graduate student Cecilia Ruzas won at doubles with a 7-6 victory. The women headed to Northridge, California on March 9th, where they dropped the match with a 5-2 decision at the Matador Tennis Complex. Minich and Rosas picked up a doubles victory at number 2, while Maria Oliveira and Line Greeling won at number 3 with a 6-3 victory. They will take on Duquesne on Friday, March 17th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. For stats and more, go to ysusports.com.
The YSU women's lacrosse team had 2 road games over the break, playing against Niagara University and Northwestern University. First against Niagara, it was a loss for the Penguins, 18-11. The team started strong, starting the game on a 5-1 run, but then the Purple Eagles would score 4 unanswered goals to tie the game. The game was tied 9-9 going into halftime. The third quarter is where Niagara would take a big lead, outscoring YSU 5-1. Sophomore Natalie Calandra-Ryan and junior Aaron Clark each had a hat trick in the game. The Penguins would look to rebound against a Big Ten opponent in the form of Northwestern University. The Wildcats did not take the game easy against the Penguins, defeating YSU by a score of 24-3. The 3 Penguins goals came from Calandra-Ryan, junior Jordan Miller, and freshman Danny Emler. The Penguins returned home yesterday afternoon in a game against Gardner-Webb. The Penguins won 28-18. The women's lacrosse team is back in action against Canisius on March 19th.
The Youngstown State bowling team started a busy and exciting March schedule this past weekend as it traveled to Lincoln, Nebraska for the 3-day Big Red Invitational, March 3rd through March 5th. On day 1, the Penguins posted a 1-4 record in their 5 Baker matches and totaled 4,977 pins. Youngstown State struggled to keep the pace with the top end of the field. On day 2, the sophomore Madison Marks posted the highest individual tournament average in school history, averaging 227.4, as the Penguins set a new team record for best match total with 1,190 pins. On day 3, the Penguins finished strong by finishing 4th of 10 teams. The bowling team is back in action March 17th through 19th at the Columbia 300 Music City Classic. Now let's send it over to our Matt Maher for the men's basketball team's greatest plays of the season.
Thanks, guys. This week we have the men's basketball greatest plays of the season. Let's take a look. First off, we have McBride, who's able to push to the net, can't finish, but Adrian Nelson able to come in and finish off with a nice dunk of his own. Then Brandon Rush coming forward, doing what his last name says, single-handed dunk to finish off that play. And then we have McBride coming in, stealing away from the Green Bay player, Rush to his side, able to come through, push forward, pass to him, and a nice dunk. And let's watch that one again, because man, oh man, was that a nice pass there by McBride. Past a diving Green Bay player, and a beautiful finish there by Brandon Rush, and then a nice pass here to Nelson for the dunk to finish off this week's greatest plays of the week. Caleb and Bryce, back to you.
And that is going to wrap it up for Here Things on Penguin Rundown. We hope you have a great and safe St. Patrick's Day weekend this weekend. I'm wearing my green, and then tonight it is the NIT game against Oklahoma State. Really exciting stuff happening here on campus. For sports and updates and everything else in between, you can go to ysusports.com. For everything here at Rundown, you can check out our Instagram and Twitter pages at Penguin Rundown 1. From here in the studio, I've been Caleb Ellison.
And I've been Bryce Noel.
And until next time, see you later, Penguin Nation.